It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, superheroes, Aleve D, cold and sinus, and superheroes. Let's talk it all out.
And aliens. I thought you were going to throw in some aliens today, but that's fine. We'll get to that.
No.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Mike.
And this week, Batman returns to video games for the first time in 10 years. When I read that sentence that this is the first Batman game in 10 years, I about had a stroke, not realizing that it's been 10 years. I was like, Arkham Knight was just like a couple years ago, 2-3 years. No, it's been 10 years. So we're gonna dive into that with a new game here. The Eternals could fight both the Avengers and the X-Men in an upcoming movie. Wouldn't you like to see that?
I think Kumail Nanjiani would like to see that.
Yeah. Is he in a TV show that's coming out soon? Is he in something?
I don't know. He might be promoting something. He was on a podcast this week, and he was kind of giving some details to his Marvel contract, which we don't get that a lot. Because usually when you sign the Marvel contract, that's your life for a decade, and you don't talk about it. But now he's like, I was supposed to be in a video game and like 5 movies, and nothing ever happened.
Yeah. Well, they put him in there just in case. But I was gonna see. I'm actually gonna pull it up here because I was like, I feel like he's in something. It's Animal Farm, the movie, and then I thought it was a TV show. He was in Poker Face, so I guess not. So just. All right. Well, never mind. Anyways, continue with that. Peacemaker Season 2 debuted this week and more.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little haphazard today. I've come back from Disneyland over the weekend, and I have what kind of Chris has described in the past as like con crud. But instead of indoors, I got it exteriors. It seems like. Well, I guess no. There are definitely interior portions of Disneyland, so I could have got it.
It's from a crowd. It's from a crowd, really. Could be anywhere.
So, like, I'm double teaming like Sudafed and Diet Mountain Dew right now. It's very odd because the medication, it's like this 12-hour medication that you are only supposed to take during the day. You pray for yourself if you take it at night because you're not sleeping. But then you're kind of sleepy all day. But not sick at all because it's awesome. If we ever need a pharmaceutical sponsor for this podcast, I will talk about Aleve D cold and sinus all day. You have to get it from behind the counter. This stuff's strong, and they only let you buy so much of it. We had some sort of glitch happen at our local CVS where my wife went to go pick some up because we were all out, and a box usually lasts us like half a year. Longer if we're lucky, because that means we're not getting sick. And they're just like, no, you bought one of these boxes just a couple weeks ago. You can't buy another one yet. We're just like, wait, what? No, definitely not. So that's just saying all the stuff behind the counter is the fun stuff.
Oh yeah, and they're keeping tabs on you. That's the thing you have to know.
They are keeping tabs. They're scanning driver's licenses. So I'm a little all over the place right now, but I'm excited to talk about a lot of the stuff on the show because I've been kind of like MIA. Chris and I haven't chatted much this week.
No, it's been busy.
We finally watched some stuff. We're ready to talk about stuff. I'm realizing just now, I don't think we ever delivered on our half-hearted promise to talk about Ironheart. Did you ever finish Ironheart?
Oh, hell no. There has been no time to watch Ironheart, Mike. I tell you that right now. But we do. I am caught up. We have Alien Earth and Peacemaker to talk about this week. So it's one of those things where, again, like I said, my wife's a teacher. She's back to school the past couple weeks, and it takes about that first month to get the rhythm back of like how much free time we have in the day to watch things together because we gotta. That's the show we're going to have to watch together. So we just haven't got that rhythm back yet because we will. My guess is it's going to be a Saturday where it's not nice out. It's like rainy, that fall raininess. And we're just going to binge the whole show on like a Saturday.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how you got anything done this week, especially where you live in the country, because this Cracker Barrel rebrand has been doing numbers, folks. Anybody? I love to think of our international listeners going, "What the hell is Cracker Barrel?"
Oh, they know now.
That is my whole point. Everybody on the internet is Monday morning quarterbacking this Cracker Barrel rebrand, and I'm just like, I have never once heard a single person utter the word Cracker Barrel on the internet my entire life.
Wrong. There was a lady. Do you not remember the lady who got fired from Cracker Barrel? There was a justice for the lady who worked at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you're right. I remember this. It's like a Facebook group and everything.
Yeah. That lady is from Corden, Indiana, which is 30 minutes from where I live currently. So I'm very familiar with this Cracker Barrel. So it's not the first time. You undersell the internet's knowledge of Cracker Barrel, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah, we just need to call ourselves the Cracker Barrel Boys. If you're not familiar with the Cracker Barrel, which is entirely possible, I think it's more of a middle of the country. I don't know if it kind of is pretending to be Southern food or it is actually adored in the South. I'm not entirely sure.
Hold on, I'm looking at the maps.
Kind of like,
I'm doing a map.
It's kind of like it's kind of like an old down-home country restaurant that's kind of known for half of its footprint being like a gift shop, general store type of deal. So honestly, we were just talking about Disneyland. This is 2/3 of a Disneyland's DNA, right? All they need is a ride, and this is a microcosm of a theme park right here. One of my favorite Christmas decorations of all time came from a Cracker Barrel. It is a snow globe that is encased in a plastic motorized helicopter. So imagine the inside of like a helicopter where the people sit is a snow globe, and it's Santa Claus, and he doesn't have a sleigh anymore. It's a helicopter. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. My mother-in-law got it for me for a gift after she knew I loved it, and it's my favorite gift. So these are the kind of the crazy things that you'll see at a Cracker Barrel country store.
43 states. On their website,
okay.
The way from California all the way up to Rhode Island, even.
Okay. So if you're in the continental United States, you might be familiar with it. Yeah. But they've had like this very classic branding style where there's this old man literally next to a barrel, and the joke is he's the cracker sitting next to the barrel. Yeah. And there's just been this like I would assume overblown, entirely fake controvery that removing this old man from the logo is somehow firing a shots over a political party. But it's I just think it's hilarious. I just think it's hilarious that Cracker Barrel, I'm sure they just love being talked about. Any news is good news.
Well, here's the thing. It's not the logo. It's the store internals that piss me off, Mike. As someone, I work, so people don't, I work at an advertising agency. Of course, we're going to talk about advertising changes, right, in the world, like that permeates us. But it's not so much the logo change. I don't care. I don't think about the logo. But it's the inside change that's really upsetting because... a brand.
I didn't know they were changing the inside.
The inside looks more like a Denny's. It's got glass walls. They've removed all like that wood, the cross wood. It looks like the backside of like a porch, like that hides the underside of a deck. All the kitschy stuff is gone. Like it doesn't feel like an at-home Southern kitchen anymore. It feels like a Denny's.
That is absolutely wrong. I learned a new phrase, and it's not a new phrase. It's just our world and society has been so determined to head the opposite direction from this that I forgot exists. It's the word maximalism. Mm-hmm. We always talk about minimalism when it comes to design, whether you're on an app or in somebody's home, and if something isn't minimal, it's kind of more like neutral, kind of in the middle. Like everyone's been running away from anything maximalistic. But like Cracker Barrel, they should have gone the opposite direction. I want more stuff on the wall. Yeah. I want like peanut shells on the floor. I want to be tripping over old rusty trombones, wagon wheels. The bathroom should be themed to where like you shit in a barrel. Like they need to be going crazy.
Look, I've seen people who go to Cracker Barrel. I don't want that. You don't want that. Like you've gone off the rails, Mike. You've gone the other way.
No,
but I think so. What I always like the kitschy store up front has like the old time candy and like glass bottle drinks, which I partake in. Buying on the way out. But what I miss is like it always feels crowded in a Cracker Barrel in like a good way. It's like, oh, I'm at like a family reunion and I may not know everybody around me, but by God, we're all eating good, right? Like we're all having breakfast at 3 p.m. We know what we're here for. No one's getting the dinner at Cracker Barrel. We're all getting breakfast 24 hours a day because that's what they're known for. I don't normally eat grits, Mike, but I will eat grits at a Cracker Barrel, hands down. I don't know about you, if you're a grits man or not.
They our household loves their cheesy kind of hash brown casserole in a way. It's not served in a dish, but that's probably the best way to describe it. The greatest thing about this whole controversy, before we go on to talk about the things that we are more attuned to talk about,
we talk about food. Okay, people know we like our food. This is irrelevant. Continue.
It is hilarious to me that Cracker Barrel is on the New York Stock Exchange.
I didn't know that either. That's
not as part of like a bigger like Yums brand type of deal. Like not even like KFC isn't even on the New York Stock Exchange. They are part of a bigger stock ticker. Cracker Barrel is CBRL. It is hilarious to me that you can just buy stock in Cracker Barrel. I love it. It's so funny. And they've been on it. Oh my God, really? 1985. That is insanity. So here's the real news. If you're lucky enough to hold on to stock from Cracker Barrel,
don't buy it.
2 years before I was born, it was $1, basically $1 a share, and now it's up to like $54 a share. So you're still rich. You're still rich. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean I don't go to Cracker Barrels nearly as much as I could, but if I'm ever like I'm feeling like breakfast for dinner in Waffle House, they don't have the right lady behind the counter dumping ashes in my eggs. I'm probably going to go down to Cracker Barrel because I know for sure I'm going to get at least consistent food there. I'm going to get that. It's not a Grand Slam. I don't forget what the Cracker Barrel's version is. It's like it's like Dad's breakfast or something like that. It's like one of everything.
Or like country breakfast or something. Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. So, but yeah. Anyways,
no, I'm just glad I got to go on the record on the internet about how I felt about Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. I don't think anybody gives two shits about the people eating a Cracker Barrel. Don't give two shits about the logo. They care about what they're getting when they go inside of it. And I think that's the takeaway for me is it's not the logo. It's the brand is more than that. It's more than the vibe.
Has anyone ever door-dashed Cracker Barrel?
I have.
What's wrong with
I
you?
have.
Reach out.
It was COVID. It was COVID, and I wanted it.
Okay, that's different. Outside of a pandemic,
okay.
Why are you door-dashing Cracker Barrel? That's insanity.
My in-laws had been 8-9 years ago, maybe. We were freshly married. Did Thanksgiving dinner from Cracker Barrel. Like they do pre-ordered Cracker Barrel like Thanksgiving dinners, and you go pick it up. Everything. It was fine. It was fine. I think my wife's grandmother at the time was on like a low sodium intake diet, so everything was awful tasting. But nothing a little salt and pepper can't fix. At least to get through. But anyway, now we're changing from Cracker Barrels to a couple of crackers in a barrel. I don't know where I'm going with this, Mike. I watched Alien Earth this week. I finally caught up to it. Is what we're going to go into. It's on Hulu, but I want to say it's also FX, like on Hulu. Is that is that a thing still?
I was telling Chris before we hopped on the mic. You can watch it on Tuesday night when it airs on Hulu, as opposed to Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which comes on. I think I can't watch it until like the next day or something like that. So I think it's probably more of a Hulu show.
It's FX. It's FX Hulu. It is FX. Yeah. They list it under their. I pulled it up.
Until Disney fully absorbs Hulu, then who knows what the next season of the show will be.
Yeah, because like The Bear is an FX show as well, and a couple other ones in here. Shogun I heard of, but either way, I would say I did not watch the Alien movies until I was in college, and it wasn't because I just didn't have access to them. I think that's always something I talk about on the show. When you have access to movies in a small town, you don't really get it. But I was familiar with the premise of Aliens. Since then, we've been treated to, I guess, an alien renaissance, if you will, like an up and down
sure,
kind of thing, like Prometheus, fun, Alien Covenant. I think we actually covered on the show. We had the podcast when that came out. We've done Alien Romulus. I think those are the big three now. Alien Earth, which is a TV series created by Noah Hawley of Legion fame and some other stuff.
Fargo
Fargo.
was his kind of big breakout series.
Yep. Fargo, Legion, and now Alien Earth, and we gotta watch this. So there will be a little bit of spoilers. We are in 3 episodes in, so I don't think there's a lot of spoilers for the show, but we may talk about some plot beats early on here. So if you want to go ahead and use the time codes in the show, that's fine. Mike, I watched all 3 on Friday to catch up with it finally. You watched the first 2, I think, when it dropped, in the new one this week. Is that a fair assessment? Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, what do you think so far?
Man, I love it. This show is so much fun. I had totally different notions of what the show was going to be based on the trailers. I just thought like, oh, spaceship crashes on Earth. Going to be some sort of like military response, and it's just going to kind of be like, Monster in the Woods or something like that, with, a slight twist of this being kind of like a different version of Earth. But no, they are going deep into this lore, and I love it. They're kind of really zoning in on this part of the Alien franchise that hasn't really been tapped into all that much, and it kind of looks like maybe even Predator Badlands is going to lean into it a bit more, which is this whole like artificial life component that's always kind of been a backseat to like the xenomorph carnage in every movie. And we get to adapt it even more. And there's some text on screen in the very first episode that kind of primes you for all of this. There's 3 different types of kind of like robotic life out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you remember, I can't remember all the terms. But basically,
I'll tell you what they are.
If like a full-on robot, which I believe is called a synthetic.
Yeah,
right?
Synthetics have been around, yes, since the first Alien, right? We had Ash, and then there was another one.
The milky robots on the inside that are just full-on robots.
Yeah,
and then you have a blend of human and robot. And are they just calling them cyborgs? And I don't remember what they call them.
Cyborgs, yes, they are the humans with augmented, I guess, implants, or like essentially one guy has a robot arm that can do multiple things in this.
And I think he also has like a chip in his brain because they were showing him downloading some stuff in one episode. And then there's kind of this, I don't know if it's a brand new to this universe or this is something that's maybe in like a novelization that no one's read. But what if you could transfer your consciousness to a synth in a way? So it's a fully synthetic body with a fully like human brain and everything. And I just think this whole angle is just fascinating. It's like, oh yeah, this is absolutely the way that you should build an entire series that has to run multiple hours. And these episodes are full on jam-packed hours. So they've got a lot of stuff to develop and a lot of ground to cover. And I just love this angle. It's so smart. It's so interesting. It gives me more to bite onto. I feel like a lot of people, when they think of Alien, they think of like horror, monster movie with a tilt to sci-fi, and this is like full on like sci-fi with like a monster running around in the background. And I'm loving it. It's I feel like at some points it can get like slightly cheesy, but I don't even care. I'm having such a fun time. It's my appointment television of the week, and I just love every episode ends with like some like hardcore rock and roll music, which I don't understand the creative decision there, but
it's James Gunn running it. It feels like a James Gunn thing.
Exactly right.
Because there's also like I like it. I'm not in love with this show yet, because the tropes are too like apparent for me. It's not some of the other things, like as Mike said, there's these consciousness transferred into synth bodies, but they're all children. So you have adults essentially acting like kids. Like if I have to hear, I'm not supposed to tell you one more time, I was about to flip the fucking TV over, Mike. But I understand, like that's a trope. But he's also, I don't mind the kid, but that's a trope. I will say one of the things, and I was talking to a listener to the show, Patrick, about this. I really enjoyed the opening of the show, where it's essentially the ship that's crashing. It's like Alien, the intro to the first Alien movie, but on this crashing ship, with like the crew coming out of hypersleep and like they're just checking in on stuff, and then there's like another creepy android or synth there as well, kind of being weird to some people. So I think we're gonna get flashbacks to how the ship crashed because we don't know yet. But I do enjoy it. I enjoy. Not only are we getting a xenomorph, but we're also getting like 9 other alien creatures that are also like predatory, like, and couple that with the cold stoic acting of oh my gosh, Justified, Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, Timmy. Oh yeah, I didn't even know he was going to be in this show, and when he popped up, I was like, oh yeah, I love this guy. I was so stoked.
And then so he's in there, and he's a synth. He is a synth in this, and he's got the white hair, essentially akin to he's like a little bit David from the Prometheus Covenant film, but also kind of like a bishop, like very follows the orders, very by the book from Aliens. So he's got that down, and then like he's like, oh, there's like one instance I remember specifically. He's like, it's fauna, perhaps fauna presents as flora kind of thing. And I was like, he's sitting here just reading all this stuff. He knows how the alien eggs work. Like, he's the smart person in the room, right? He's like, oh, if you get too close to this egg, it will react to a human and open up, and you'll essentially be taken over. And then he like dissects a face hugger at one point and shows how they infect things. I agree with you. I love the sci-fi elements of it. It's not too horrifying yet, but we're 3 of maybe 8 or 10 episodes in.
I think it's 8.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Like, I'm not mad at it. I'm not going to turn it off. It's very tropey, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, I like these characters. I want to see what's going on with the main girl, Wendy. Right? Why does she have some sort of supersonic hearing? Why did the ship crash? The guy who crashed the ship and survived, is not a science officer, but whatever he was.
I think he maybe security officer or something like that.
Fucking phenomenal. He's a great foil to the whole thing, right?
Oh yeah.
So
some amazing performances. I mean, the adults acting like kids. Most of that is really working for me. Like, I don't know. I feel like all of them, when they got the role, went and visited like their nieces and nephews, like for a couple weeks to like really like lean in on it. They do a great job kind of subverting expectations, but also leaning into them. Like, I am of the different mind of, I don't think they're going to tell us anything about the plane of the spaceship crash, because I think they're leaning into the fact that everybody knows what happened in Alien. Even if you didn't watch it, you kind of know inherently what happened, of like, oh, the alien gets out and kills everyone. So it's kind of like, we don't need to see Batman's origin story again. We know what happened. So I think they're leaning into that and let's just get this ball rolling. Let's get this spaceship crashing. We don't need to talk about it too much anymore. And I kind of almost like how when they start it, they introduce us to all of these kind of like quirky characters, and then they just kill them all. I was like, oh, this is fun. I kind of like how they're okay to throw the baby out with the bathwater to make a little bit of a point. And then if you're like, and if you really know how like these alien movies work, you got to get all of these humans trapped in one location at some point in time for the alien to wreak havoc. And it's like the second you hear that billionaire prodigy's like, oh, bring them back to my underground science lab. We know exactly what's going to happen. We're just waiting to see when it does, and it's going to be amazing and gruesome, and I can't wait to see everyone get their just desserts.
I would agree normally, except like the android is in there and he actually listened to the android. Like, he listened to Timmy Oliphant's character. Because I'm like, he's like, oh, I want to do any, like early on, he's like, yeah, send in the new bots. You know, we want to see what they do. We want data. And then he's like, he actually listened to him. So I think there's going to be, knock on wood, hopefully a little bit of like not a twist, but like they don't lean into everything predictable throughout the show. With that, but like, you know, obviously they lean on the 5 corporations owning Earth, one of them being the Weyland-Yutani organization, which is essentially the aliens, the company we see on the alien ships. So like, they've had a history with this. I did look up the timeline because I was curious, and this takes place technically, I think third in order of all the alien movies. Not that anybody cares. But it goes Prometheus, then Alien Covenant, which we were promised from Ridley Scott. Those were the prequels. Then Alien Earth, the current show. Then Alien, then Alien Romulus, then the Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. So I am excited to see how the Weyland-Yutani robot in Badlands ties into this, because we obviously know it's a Weyland-Yutani. What time period is that? And everything else. I'm having a good time with this show. I'm excited to see what the other creatures are. There's like a little eyeball with multiple eyeball dudes running around. There's like a tick, like a alien tick that sucks on, like sticks on, sucks blood. There's like the I don't know what it's like, a Venus flytrap or something plant looking thing we talked about. Are there any other ones we've seen? I don't think so.
I want to say there was 5 of them. Maybe they haven't revealed them all yet.
Yeah. I think there's a couple more, but kind of excited to see what they do with it. I'm interested. I'm glad it wasn't like a spaceship crashes into Earth and then the alien is running havoc through a city, like you said, like where they do that. But it is weird that like they're a search and rescue team and all they just send in with one medic and a bunch of people with guns. And I was like, I'm like, I get why you're doing it. You need to get this kid in there. But the last thing I'll say is it's funny watching the discourse online of people saying Ice Age is now canon in the Alien universe. Because they watched Ice Age as a kid.
Yeah, they're like, this is a real screenshot from Alien Earth when the sloth was over. Yeah, it's funny stuff.
It is funny, but I'm gonna be checking out. I think we'll just come back maybe at the end of the show, talk about it, in about a month or so, cover it on the show.
Yeah,
so we'll do that. All right, let's get into some of the comic book movies. What we're here for, stuff like that is there's a rumor going around that the Eternals are going to come back to the MCU, but not with Eternals 2. You mentioned Kumail Nanjiani saying he doesn't know what's going on, but I think this next movie aligns with how I think they would do it. And it's the Marvel is looking to adapt their Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals, shortened to A.X.E, comic book into a movie. And the whole part of this comic book is that the Eternals who are left on Earth find out that the X-Men mutants are essentially descendants of Deviants, and that's how they get their powers. So we all know from the Eternals movie that they were sent to Earth to get rid of all the Deviants, and that's their whole purpose. And then the planet becomes an egg for a Celestial, and boom, new Celestial. They prevented all that. We've got a little bit of that in Captain America: Brave New World. But if the idea is that the Celestials are coming back and dealing with the Eternals, and they're fighting the X-Men and Avengers, I would be way more invested in this than in Eternals 2. Tying up the loose ends and doing that.
I have 2 thoughts on this. This kind of feels like a leaked maybe roadmap of if the Eternals movie was more well received, right? Like, this makes a lot of sense if people were really invested in the Eternals. But I got to imagine the game plan has changed now. Or if this actually is indeed true and like up to date, like maybe they're getting some sort of data on Disney Plus that we are just not familiar with. Like maybe more people are watching streaming the Eternals than we think they are.
Yeah, I mean, there could be. I mean, again, the regular people who are watching it could be watching it. I will tell you that A.X.E came out after the movie did. So I don't think that this is a situation where, like, if Eternals did better, we just adapt the comic book, because the comic book came out over a year later after the movie. So I think this is a way, like, hey, how can we keep like 2 Eternals that we want to keep? Like maybe it's Nanjiani, maybe it's the girl who played Cersei, Jim and Chan. Maybe it's what's it? Star Fox.
Phastos,
but Harry Styles.
Styles, that's right.
Yeah, how can we tie some of this in together without doing like a whole movie? And I think maybe it's not an Avengers, maybe it's X-Men versus Eternals, maybe it's not an Avengers movie, maybe it's just X-Men versus Eternals, and not bringing in all the groups together. That would be way better, I think.
My guess would be, I got to imagine, Eternals is just unfortunately poisoned in a way from an era that Marvel doesn't really want to return to, like their first ever rotten movie. Like, listen, I don't necessarily agree with the internet hating on this movie. I had a decent time watching it, and I wish we could have built on it more. But I don't think we can go back and just change how everything was executed, unfortunately. But I think you can still bring the characters back. I think you kind of just do it like you do with the Hulk, where you're not really making any Hulk movies, but he keeps showing up and stuff. So I think you just have to find a property that you can put the Eternals in. We can revive the characters and still have fun with them. Because I love Kumail Nanjiani. I've loved him even before he was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'd love to see Kingo again. We did get to see him in What If. I feel like people like him. I think he's likable. So maybe, I feel like you gotta pivot them like cosmically now, since we've kind of pointed that direction at the end of the movie. So I don't know, maybe if you build like a Nova movie around the Eternals, or I don't know if it would be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4.
Well,
I don't think that's right, but maybe there needs to be some sort of cosmic movie that they spin up.
Well, we know we've talked about them being cosmic, and I think there's two groups. One's left on Earth, and one is in space. I think you could keep some of the Earth ones on Earth and the space ones in space. But I think we know that they're going to be merging these universes down probably. Galactus versus Celestials would be interesting. We've talked about Annihilus, the Annihilation Wave. Yeah, there's got to be some spacing with the Celestials, because when a big red dude just shows up around Earth, it's not very. There's not a lot you can do with it at the end of the day. But we do know there's some out there. There's just, sadly, between that and what was it, Thor: Love and Thunder? What was was it Eternity? Was like the Wishmaker deity in that one as well? Like I forgot. They really kind of shit the bed, if you will, on that one as well. But again, knowing that that this is going. They're moving forward. They're doing things differently. Something like this, even if it's X-Men versus Eternals, like just two groups of powered people, and at the end, they don't. One of them doesn't make it out. It's gonna be the X-Men are gonna live on. Would be interesting to me, but they do have the comic book basis to pull it from, which logically, if they were like, yeah, these new X-Men are essentially descended from creatures that had power on this Earth, that works a little bit better than just saying like, oh, they're fighting each other because the Sokovia Accords again or something like that.
It's funny. It seems like their Deviant like adjacent kind of seems like a better way to bring back Inhumans. It feels more Inhuman related to me, but I don't think we'll be seeing the Inhumans again for a while.
Yeah. Oh no. So it's actually funny. It's been several years since we had Inhumans in the comic books, and recently they made a return appearance in a comic book this month. And it's been years since we've had Inhumans. So, mind you, I don't think there's anything that's off the table if they can do, Superman, back to back pretty quick like that. I think they could probably be like, yeah, here's Inhumans. Most of you didn't watch the show. We have data on that. You didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. either. We have data on that. So no one will know what this is, but they are very close, and they probably don't need to be, kind of in the same area as that. But you mentioned space, and that's great, because the next thing we have is actually a Star-Lord rumor, is that Chris Pratt will be back as Star-Lord, which we saw at the end of Guardians 3, and build a new team of unlikely heroes on Earth rather than in space, because we saw him go live with his at least visit, maybe not live, go to his grandfather, right, when he got back to Earth. And but we did see some Secret Wars concept art a couple months ago, if you remember, where he was with Wong and the Young Avengers. Like do you remember that leaked concept art? They got someone at Disney in trouble. So like I know that we're probably going to get Guardians separately than Star-Lord movie. Is there do you want Star-Lord to be like a leader of the Young Avengers, or should he be like, who should he essentially be working with now that he's on Earth in this situation?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if the Guardians movie and Infinity War have showed us anything, Star-Lord really is not a great leader by any sense of the word, but he's like a decent person, so I feel like maybe some of his humanity helps pull a team together. I would think if he's pulling a scrappy team together, like honestly, it just makes me think of Peacemaker. If he's just grabbing some random people on Earth, they're not really going to be the best, and he's really not great at pulling the best out of people. It feels like, but I mean, how much runway, how much roadmap does Star-Lord have left in the MCU?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's really, it's kind of funny how we don't bring him up like we do with like Thor and these kind of like OG Avengers who kind of are trying to get sunsetted and like send them off, in the sunset in a way. We don't really talk about Star-Lord in that way, but he has been around for quite a long time. So, I mean, I feel like he's kind of come full circle.
He had a good arc to Earth. So. He had a really good story arc.
Got left.
Yeah, like if anything, like maybe he's bringing his experience, because the one thing we didn't get to see was like the years of experience he had with the team. Right, he was well known in the universe. I think the only thing you can do with Star-Lord is if you're gonna put him somewhere, put him back in space. Like maybe not with the Guardians, but maybe like the Annihilators or something, because obviously he's fought Ronan, he's fought Thanos, he's done everything along the way. Like he's even took down the High Evolutionary. He's a dedicated friend. Like if you start him somewhere fresh, it's got to be a new kickstart. But like I don't know where to, like you said, I don't know where to put him. Like what do you do with it? Like, is anything special about Star-Lord now that after the second movie he lost his celestial connection? Like, is there anything special about him other than his experience fighting in space? And
it's going to be a non-Gunn Star-Lord too, because I believe Gunn even wrote all of the Guardians parts in Infinity War and Endgame, or at least like heavily consulted.
Yeah.
And he's off at DC. I don't think there's really any handshake that kind of brings him back in the like look over the characters. So
yeah, well he could, but if he wasn't writing everything in DC and directing everything, he probably wouldn't have time to do it at this point. But yeah, I think it's like if we bring him back, where do you put him? Like what do you do with him other than just make him essentially a like how Iron Man 3 kind of wrapped up his story. I'm using air quotes, you can't see it, but like they just kept bringing Tony Stark back. Like, is that the Star-Lord? Like, is that what they're going to do just because they have a familiar face who, he's in trouble for something I saw online this week. I don't remember what.
Yeah, he's always getting in trouble. He's always getting in trouble for stuff, which could be an advantage of maybe sunsetting the character eventually.
Yeah, I think you could put him back, but yeah, I think if he goes out, he's got to have something kind of along the way. But, oh well. Back into the existing Disney universe, Daredevil Born Again launched earlier this spring. We know season 2 is coming up, and they've already filmed it. We have word that Marvel's prepping for a renewal for season 3 in March. I assumed it was renewed for season 3. My guess is that they're doing it TV style, like the reception and watch numbers to renew it as for season 3. I think Daredevil will get it. I have no concerns about this at all. But it is very similar to season 2 schedule, where they started filming March of this year after renewal, after the season kind of came out. And then the confirmation was Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio have both signed on for at least 3 seasons before their negotiations would renew. So I assume they try to get 3 seasons out of them, 3 on Netflix, 3 here, before maybe focusing on maybe some newer street level heroes they could bring in.
Kind of the Hollywood standard of 3 seasons and then check back in.
If we did a show in 2027 set between Doomsday and Secret Wars, that would be a good way to end that without having to deal with the multiverse shenanigans. Like trying to bring it in. Like, how do you bring in a street level character into that? Oh, hey, the world reset. Here's everything new. So I think that would be one way to do it. Marvel TV, they've been, they seem to have a focus on one live action show a year. It seems to be Daredevil right now. We've heard rumors of a Punisher, Jessica Jones. Is there any other, if we weren't going to focus on Netflix, I was trying to think of characters the other day. I'm like, who would I watch on Marvel TV if they gave me new characters right along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the way Moon Knight ended, but I feel like there's appetite out there for more Oscar Isaac, so that could be a good strategic.
They could do that and take the actual TV series approach to it rather than the movie approach, like they did with all those shows, right? Where they, it is actually produced, written, and thought of like a TV show. I think he'd be great in it. I think he's coming up on Frankenstein for Guillermo del Toro, so he's not hurting for work. I was trying. I think we have Vision. I was trying to think of just any other character we haven't seen before. I'm like, who in the comic books have I played? I'm like, it'd be great to see them on like a street level style show. But all I can come back to is these damn Defenders because all we've seen the past 10, 11 years. But well, if anyone out there has any ideas of characters to bring into the MCU TV shows, let us know. We'd love to hear what you think. Moving into Marvel Zombies, coming out fairly soon. I think it's what we say last week. It's like September 24th, so about a month away. And I just got word, or we just all got word, that Mahershala Ali is not voicing Blade in the series, even though they're using his likeness. And they're using Todd Williams, who also took over for Ali in Invincible when he voiced Titan, and then didn't return as the character Titan. So he's got history of being a replacement for Mahershala Ali. I'm
glad he's getting work.
Yeah. I know, like, the hardest part about this is it spins up all those, oh my gosh, he's leaving Blade, he's not doing Blade. He is like, what, 50 something, right? By the time, how old is he? I'm going to pull it up right now. He is 51 years old. Yeah, he's
not the only actor that hasn't appeared in these animated stuff. Sometimes they want to do it, sometimes they don't want to do it.
Well, exactly. And his only MCU cameo so far is in what? Mike, do you remember?
Cameo. I mean, he was in Luke Cage season 2.
No, he was in Eternals. His voice at the end, whenever he said.
Oh yeah,
he was talking about the Blade. So I was highlighting Eternals in our show notes to bring it back around to Eternals, that movie that probably may or may not ever do it again. But he's 51. By the time they start filming this, will be 52, 53. Is there a lot of life for someone at that age playing Blade in this, or do we need to go down a younger Blade route again?
I don't know. He looks better than me at 50 than I do in my 30s. So.
Yeah, nothing against. I don't think he looks bad, but I'm just saying, like, it's like one of those situations. Like, is he want to be in a role that's as physically demanding as Blade would be for multiple movies? Hugh Jackman keeps coming back, so I can't really, say that. But we won't get to hear him in Marvel Zombies next month. As soon as we got off the episode last week, I saw an article about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2, Mike, after we were like, is there a Season 2? There is. It's going to be, quote, more grand, more tragic, and more funny than the first season, according to one of the voice actors. It's just probably the most generic description of any second season you could get out there.
I think that's the goal for literally any TV show. We got to do more. We got to do better. We got to do bigger. All right.
Yep. Cool. I think also my vibe for the second season will be it follows less of the MCU and maybe strikes more of its own stance out there. Right. The first season kind of leaned a little bit on it, but like I feel like by the end they're like, oh, here's your MCU Doctor Octopus, or not MCU. Here's your animated Doctor Octopus. Right. Here's the characters you're not you won't see in the MCU like this. So I hope Season 2 gives us a little more insight into this crazy world. Moving on, Spider-Man, brand new day. Got 2 bits of news here. Number 1, a rumor that Florence Pugh will join the movie as White Widow, Yelena Belova. Now, I do want to asterisk this. I'm not sure of her scope. It could be a scene, could be a beginning of the movie, could be an end of the movie. But we know that she's the leader of the Thunderbolts / New Avengers. So I assume if she's in there, it will be a tie-in for that rather than actually, hey, it's her, the Punisher, the Hulk, a bunch of other people along the way. I think she'll probably just have a small scene in the middle of the movie. Maybe because if the Hulk is in this and he's savage, she might be providing some insight into that as well. I don't know.
Yeah, also kind of curious. like I don't think the Black Widow, like the name, was uttered that often. It wasn't like an alias that was necessarily said because she was already kind of undercover.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, and then we've seen Yelena. Wasn't she, or was it her sister? Was it Scarlet that was in kind of like the white costume in the Black Widow?
They
movie?
both were, because technically they're all Black Widows. Like they're all like that's the name of the program and the people in it. So like they didn't really give it a title. I think they just called her Yelena, like, or a widow.
I feel like, yeah. So it's like we've already kind of seen the white costuming, and like the name doesn't really pop up that often. So yeah, I don't really know how like big of a surprise. Like, oh my gosh, she's in a different costume. But we love Florence Pugh. One of the standout best things to happen in this kind of post Endgame environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, like she was like one of the first characters added in it, right, in the first movie, Black Widow, and there's been a good through thread. I think obviously tying it into the new Avengers, the Watchtower being in New York, Spider-Man being in New York. I think that'll be interesting. On the other side of this I think this is more confirmed, but actor Trammell Tillman, most recently seen in Severance, was added to the cast in an undisclosed role. Nobody knows who he's playing. The rumors are swirling. He could be Robbie Robertson. He could be Tombstone. I've even heard someone say he's replacing Kang in this movie. And I was like, doubt that one. But thank you for trying. So great get. I think people talk about him a lot out of the last season of Severance as well. So I think it's a pretty good grab for Sony over there. Adam Spider-Man. Moving on, we're switching to the DC universe a little bit. Mike, I don't know if you saw this trailer or not. I didn't know this was coming out. Nobody announced it, but Lego Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight. The first Batman game in 10 years, like I said. We got a trailer here. This will feature moments from all of the Batman movies translated to Lego, even The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, which never had video game adaptations, which looks really fun in this. You will include the ability to drive the Batmobiles. I think one of the scenes even shows them driving the one from the most recently The Batman show, the muscle car. Mm-hmm. It's the fighting style will be from the Arkham, the fluid fighting from the Arkham games in Lego style, and he'll have Batman vision, explosive foam, things that you're gonna know if you ever played a Batman game in the past 20 years. And Lego fight.
Honestly, it looks great because I feel like I kind of missed the whole Arkham wave of games. I think the first one came out on a console I didn't have, and then it was just, I felt like it was too late and I couldn't get into it. So maybe this is kind of like my way in to kind of like play a Batman game.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like, the Lego games, they just get more like, they're Legos, like they don't have high fidelity, but it's fun seeing like the plastic seam lines on everything and like the little details. When this was announced, I thought maybe they were adapting the Lego Batman movie, but they already have one of those. I think, or if not, it was like a scene in like the Lego movie. But I also noticed if you watch it, there's the scene from the Batman where the Penguin's car gets flipped, and it's actually they're using the Penguin from like the movies where he's bald. And like kind of like little penguin. And then my favorite thing of this at the end of it is Bane doing the born in the darkness, molded by it. Then he steps on a Lego in the dark, but that's Matt Berry doing the voice of Bane. And I'm like, oh, that, like, whoever did that needs a raise. Whoever got Matt Berry to do Bane needs that raise. So I'm excited for this. This looks super goofy, super fun, and then also it'd be fun to kind of take a trip through all the Batman movies, including 89, Returns, Forever, I think Batman and Robin, the Batman Begins is in here. It even starts with some of that. I think it'd just be a good time with that. And then lastly, 2026. The last thing I was going to add to this, it actually features difficulty changing, which is a first for Lego games because all Lego games have always been like easy because they're Lego games. Mm-hmm. So it looks like they might like, oh, we're going to ramp up some difficulty if you want like a more challenging time in a game. Because I love completing Lego games. So like my Lego Avengers games, 100% it all the way through. Love all the little stuff. Getting the abilities, the studs, spinning them from upgrades. So hopefully this will be sold out so you can check it out next year. Superman on digital, by the way. I think we talked about that last week. James Gunn has confirmed the Superman saga will consist of at least 4 movies. And I've got 3 quotes from him directly. What is the long-term story I'm telling here? And what is the story that I'm going to tell about Superman over 4 movies? So he confirmed that. He also has said that the treatment is done. He's down to the screenwriting phase. And I'm really happy with it. We're already prepping and figuring out where we're shooting. That will not be too long. So that sounds like they're like almost pre-production phase already. They're like scoping out shooting. So sounds like he's got a really good idea on how he's going to do the script. And then lastly, it kind of confirming that it's not like it might probably be a Justice Gang movie. Like it's within the group of characters we've already met, and Superman is an important element of it. I wouldn't be surprised if the next one is like a Superman and the Justice Gang or something like that, because how much he worked with him at the end of the movie. We're going to talk a little bit about their life after Superman here in a minute. I would not be surprised if one of these is a Justice Gang movie, Mike, like at all. And then
I think the real question is what are the subtitles? But didn't he say that he's not a fan of subtitles on titles of movies? So is the next one called Superman 2? You know, what are we working with here? I'm hoping that we hit our estimated date of 2027. You know, only 2 years in between these movies would be preferred. And 4 movies kind of make sense, right? You kind of have your traditional trilogy in there, and then some sort of maybe bigger event movie, possibly at the end that ties it all up. So yeah, I think 4 movies make sense. And then I would imagine between those 4 Superman movies, we have other DC canon features that pop up and kind of, you know, add to it, that maybe goes into that kind of maybe Avengers style crossover at the end.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Superman, Supergirl. It could be a Superman and Supergirl team up and then the Justice Gang, but like if I think of Superman and I see all the clips from it, all the clips I see are mostly featuring the Justice Gang anyway. Like Mr. Terrific scene stealer from that whole film. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he tries to maybe speed that up a bit based on the feedback. But yeah, I don't know how it's going to be, but you know, we do know they are going to be working towards this. So probably our next movie after Supergirl proper, not a Clayface or maybe Sergeant Rock. I'm rolling my eyes. You can't tell when I say Sergeant Rock will be this, but the Justice Gang, pretty fun group of people. But the Justice Gang, were they in Peacemaker or not, Mike? We're going to talk about that because season 2 of Peacemaker started this week with episode 1 on HBO Max. And this show does refer to Superman. It refers to Peacemaker season 1. It refers to the Suicide Squad James Gunn did. And a lot more, all in a little 45-minute episode with credits.
I think it's fair to say we're going to be talking about spoilers. It's the season 2 of a show, so why would you be listening if you're kind of not all caught up yet? So I'm not going to be filtering myself here with this.
There's no reason to. I think the only thing is I want to make sure if anyone hadn't watched it yet, they didn't know about the Justice Gang literally being in here. So spoiler alert. I honestly, a lot of this is on the internet already. Like the next fucking day. It's disgusting the way they do that. But full spoilers going into this right up there. Essentially, the show opens with a recap of Suicide Squad, Peacemaker season 1, and a little bit of Superman, I would say. And they essentially just retcon the whole thing by saying the Justice League didn't show up. They called it for the Justice Gang, and that is it.
Which is very interesting because if you think about it, Gunn didn't really need to walk back all that much. He just needed to kind of walk back like one little cameo and kind of one establishing shot of these characters in silhouette. So, I think we were brainstorming last week of like, oh, is this multiversal? How is he going to do it? And he did the path of least resistance of like, let's just remake it. This show is already kind of very comedic in nature. So I think that kind of really helps also him get away with it. And, if you're a fan of his universe, I think you welcome the change, right? we don't want to be jump scared by Ezra Miller anymore in this universe. This is like the most efficient way to do it too. They just redid the whole scene. I don't know, was it a 1-to-1 joke where they just swapped Aquaman and the Flash for Hot Girl and Green Lantern? Did they have the exact same lines?
No, because he talked about fucking fish in the first one, remember?
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. Like he's basically creating a Mandela effect in real time to confuse everybody. But yeah, very clever way to go about it. But weirdly enough, there's stuff to pull out of this, right? You know, we see the whole lineup of the silhouette. We see Supergirl floating off there on the right. Superman is there, which is pretty crazy because it kind of seems like he's not really part of a crew exactly by the end of his movie. He still kind of seems like an independent operator in a way. So I don't know if we've gotten an official timeline of when Peacemaker Season 2 happens after Superman. Well, I guess Rick Flag Sr. does say earlier this summer, right? When he talks about the Luther incident. I think that's the verbiage he uses.
It seems fairly close to it because obviously like they're looking for like it can't be too far because like the opening, one of the opening, not scene, but like the first sequence is Peacemaker going to interview with the Justice Gang.
But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, though, that retconned scene would have to happen before the Superman movie because those events all happened.
Yeah.
Prior to that,
because what's her name? Well, Amanda Waller was in charge of Argus, and she's not in charge of Argus.
So I guess like Supergirl has previously met all of these Justice Gang members already, so we'll know that dynamic already exists when we see her show up again more proper. But Mr. Terrific Silhouette was the best. I loved him in his little floaty chair, just being a little weirdo over there. But great move. What a easy way to just breeze past it. But also super funny that if you're somebody that just fast forwards through the recap, you would have totally missed it.
Oh yeah. Well, exactly. Like that was the one thing I was like, oh, we're gonna watch this because I was like, should I watch a recap? And I was like, no, because I already heard about this intro, like retconning. I told you that a couple weeks ago, but I was like, nah, we'll just watch it in here because they're gonna have to reference it anyway, so we'll just not have to watch a recap and just do the whole thing in there for that. I don't know how to break into this episode, Mike. The one thing my wife said, she's like, I can't wait for the intro. I can't wait for the song. And she didn't know they changed songs. And
okay.
I'm just gonna be blunt with this. It fucking sucks. This intro is the worst change they could have made to this whole show, right out the gate. Like it doesn't carry the same energy. It's weird music that no one's heard of. I don't care this weird music no one ever heard of, but it's like it's not catchy, it's not energetic, and it doesn't set me in the right mood for the show out the gate. My wife, she's like, I don't like it either. She's like, I don't like it. I was like, she's like, I want the old one back. It's not as good. I was like, yep, that seems to be the consensus in our household, Mike. What do you think?
I don't think we have strong opinions either way. It definitely feels like something that'll grow on you. I'd love to see them maybe evolve it in a way of maybe we get a new intro like halfway through the show, or maybe there's 3 different ones, you know? Maybe they break the formula. They definitely hired the same choreographer because it's the same kind of like weirdness dance, but kind of fits the characters in a way. I'll see how that goes. I think the biggest problem I have currently with this first episode is I feel like Gunn is maybe operating on information that most of the audience doesn't quite grasp, which is how this pocket dimension works in a way. I thought the pocket dimension was kind of set up by his dad, the White Dragon, and it was his like own little dimension. Like this is where he put all of his stuff. This was his workshop. This is his warehouse. It was private. But like now we seem to be learning that like, oh no, like anybody can kind of have a door like Monsters Inc. style that goes into this, and people have just all agreed to stay away from each other's stuff, Like, are they part of some sort of like Freemason society, interdimensional that we don't know about? Because I kind of thought maybe Peacemaker was familiar with this in a way, but all he had to do was just walk a couple doors over, and all of a sudden there's another dimension that I can go to. So I don't know if there was like a one-off line that I didn't catch in the first season of Peacemaker, but there seems to be a lot of maybe reworking of this dimension to build a story out of it, and I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? So maybe they'll talk about it more in the second episode, because we've only seen Peacemaker interact in this dimension, and then Vigilante knows about it. I know he knows about it, so maybe that we'll have some more narrative dumping in the next episode that'll kind of prime us to what are the rules of this dimension. Mm-hmm. It kind of feels like, we can just do whatever we want with this magical dimension. But I do like how Argus is on top of it, though. That's a clever way to keep the story moving, of like, yeah, this is an extremely powerful piece of tech that almost destroyed Metropolis. We gotta run it down if it exists anywhere else. So that all makes sense, but I just need some rules here.
I'm sure you're gonna figure it out. They're not gonna do it in the first one. I'll be honest, I don't like this show. This show is absolutely trash to me right now. James Gunn has lost the plot. It's just there for shock value, and I don't think I'm gonna watch the rest of this season, like, at all. Like, I'm like,
wow.
I don't need a
take.
like I'm not against like the nudity, but like the whole fucking orgy scene in this was really weird. It's like kind of depraved. He's got his the character Harcourt fighting people in a bar and just being abrasive and like, you know, getting beat in a bar. I'm like, there's nothing about that. Like I like the charm of this. Oh, and then what's her name? Waller's daughter is all there for exposition. Like he was like, what's his name, was trying to explain what a thing was. She's like, yeah, I know what that is. It does X, Y, and Z. I'm like, there's nothing about this episode that is charming, has any good action scenes. The only interesting part I saw was whenever Chris went to the other universe and we get to see, is it his name Robert Denham? I forget the actor's name.
Brother.
Yeah, his brother. Like his dad and his brother in a different light, like as actually like getting along and like not like a horrible person. And his ex, I guess his ex is actually Harcourt. This was like, I'm like, that part was really cool. How we get there, I don't give a shit. It's doors. There's a weird alien dude, but like, that is pretty cool to see this. And I want to see how they find out and like that their Chris is dead and how he got there and all this other stuff. But I was like, that is fun. But everything else about the show is just a huge turn off, because I'm like, this has lost the plot. There's too much shock value. There's not enough care in the characters. Where is the growth and stuff that we're supposed to be promised? And this first episode didn't deliver on any of that. And I watched it and I just kind of was like, when I was done, I'm like, no, the intro sucked and everything else wasn't that good. Like, this is not going to be a good season for me to enjoy. So I don't think I'm going to watch the rest of Peacemaker season 2 by a long shot.
Well, I'm going to that you do, because it would be an interesting experiment to see how we both evolve.
I hate watching things. I hate watching shows. Sucks. I did that with Breaking Bad. Hot take, I don't like Breaking Bad. I watched that whole goddamn show, and I felt miserable the whole time doing it.
Gosh, Chris, we got to end this show before people start bringing pitchforks and flaming torches, man. That's
fine. They can hate me. At least I hate it for reasons I can point out, rather than like, I don't like it because his dad's not a racist anymore. Like, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, it's fine. I just don't think. I think if they give the show to somebody else other than James Gunn, it probably would be okay. But he's too lost in like, in his trauma roots, where it's like, it's got to be nudity. You can't expect naked men dancing around in front of you and everyone, having an orgy at Peacemaker's house, or like, we're gonna beat up a chick and like throw her out of a bar. I'm like, this, if it had a point, yes, but there's no point to it. But we'll figure it out as we go. But Mike, people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at?
Well, they can find my webcomics, pickledcomics.com and liferewardsrisk.com. Chris, if people want to come and lynch and pillage you, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN. Or you can, on video games to the same name, I'll 1v1 you on it. We'll see who wins. The people know about the show, where they can get episodes where we are every week. We're going to get all them goodies at.
Yes, our interdimensional pocket dimension through a closet door is superheroslate.com. You can find our awesome show notes there, a list of upcoming movies that we're looking forward to talking about on the show. We are on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you're listening to podcasts. You can get merch, superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. Let us know what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're playing. And we love our super fans. If you want to be a super fan of this very show, all you have to do is share the show with a friend or a buddy, and we will be here every week, folks.
That's right.